this video I'm going to show you what I incorporate into my diet on a day-to-day basis just to help hit my macros, a few little tips on what to look out for in the shops. First of all, breakfast, the most important meal of the day, as some people say. I tend to go for, if I'm running late, which is a lot of the time, I'll have some of these Aldi's own brand Weetabix, basically. They quick to get a few carbs in. If I want to hit some protein, I'll just use some of the My Protein Impact Whey. Everyone's probably seen or experienced that. Very good price, very good taste. Other mornings I'll go for sultanas, raisins, cranberries, apple porridge. I'll make that into like a protein porridge, a bit of milk and some frozen raspberries or some frozen black forest fruits, and that's breakfast basically. Oh, also the oats, sometimes I'll make like a protein pancake with combining that, the Impact Whey, an egg and some yogurt. Fat sources. Most of my fat sources tend to come from my diet. If I am running low on fats on a particular day, I'll input some of this P28 white chocolate protein spread. It's lovely, really nice. See if I can get the macros in there. So they're pretty good, but I say most of my fat sources tend to cross over. So cheese, the lighter mature cheese, I'll be using that later. It's a lower fat, but it's still, because I've got low fats anyway, it still helps me hit my fat. But again, it's high in protein, so that always helps hit the protein. I also, on occasions, eggs. Whether it's in a protein pancake, an omelette, a scramble, just incorporating eggs really helps hit your fats as well, healthy fats. Protein sources. This is just one thing I'll use on occasions. Tuna. I don't eat a lot of this, but tuna is very good, very low in fat. I'll also sometimes have cod loin, smoked cod loin, that's nice, lower in fat too. I eat a lot of chicken. I tend to go for chicken mainly, or sometimes extra lean beef, make some burgers, or again, as I say, some of the fat sources cross over into that range too. On another note about the protein, this is Liberté, or however you say it, real yogurt satisfaction, and it is. It's a strained Greek style natural yogurt, so it's not Greek yogurt, but it's Greek style, which normally isn't as good as a Greek yogurt. But if you look at the macros, you can probably work out that this is probably not far off like total 0% yogurt, which is rather thick. This is a lot runnier. It's got less of a sour taste to it. Mixes well with fruit. Mixes well into pancakes, things like that. Carb sources. Right, I've always hit carbs for breakfast. No particular reason, but I do feel that I do want carbs in the morning. Cereals or porridges, it just seems to set me up well for the day. If I was to make a sandwich, I'd use Nimble bread. It's wholemeal, only 51 calories a slice. Shoot around for the macros. There we go, so as you can see, it's a lower carb bread. Fibre 1.5 grams per slice, which when you consider that it is lower in carb, isn't bad. I'll also go for wraps. Now most days at work I'll have a wrap with a chicken breast on. It's just easy for me, I enjoy it. You can put some peppers or vegetables in there, or salad if you like it. As I say, I would normally go for a wholemeal wrap, but unfortunately I'm having trouble getting them at the minute. As soon as I can get hold of them though, they'll be back in the diet. It does help me at my fibre, which these are lower in fibre. Also with my lunch I would have probably a bag of crisps. These are Walker's Baked, my favourite, sour cream and chive. Again, pretty good macros for a crisp. 2.1 grams of fat. 21 would take me over my fat in half a day. So no, 2.1 grams of fat. Carbs 18.5. Fibre 1.2. For a crisp isn't that bad. Protein 1.8. So nothing to shout home about. But just shows you that you can still eat crisps and lose weight and enjoy life. And these are the things that they make life more interesting. Little things like this, just something crisp to chow down on. I also would incorporate things like this. The Weight Watchers range is good. They do some New Me ones. Well, not New Me ones. Sainsbury's do like their own. Asda's do their own as well. But these are the ones that you can tend to go and find in most shops. Caramel cake bars. Not quite the best in the world. But easy enough to fit in. Also, the chocolate brownies. Now these are really nice. Not very big, but if you're just craving that chocolate brownie sort of thing, very nice. Rocking in at only 73 calories and 1.4 grams of fat. So on a lower fat diet, really good. Now these are from Aldi. These I'll have at least one a day, sometimes maybe two. They're really nice, not massive, but really nice. If I show you the macros, this is why I like them so much. If you look at per bar, focus, per bar, 1.4 grams of fat, so that's pretty high for the size of the bar, but never mind. Only 10 grams of carbs, and 4.9 of those is fibre. So I have a couple of these a day. Really helps me hit my fibre, especially as today that I've been pretty low because I've had the white wrap rather than the whole meal, but that just makes it fun. Another thing that makes it fun is tomato ketchup. Less sugar and less salt. It just lowers the carbohydrate. I'm sure I looked and compared the two, and it's roughly halves the carbohydrate content of tomato ketchup. So it means you can either have a bit and use it conservatively, or you can have double, which is always a bonus. Also, lighter mayonnaises. This is the lighter than light mayonnaise. It's Aldi's range again. It's just the same as like a Hellmann's one, but I tend to go for that while I'm in Aldi. That makes it nice. That's not too bad either. Fruits, I tend to be more of the apples or the bananas, but they're a higher carb fruit, so I would tend to only have one of those a day, and then I would always hit like a frozen raspberries or frozen black forest berries, blueberries. The frozen ones tend to keep a lot longer, but raspberries are a good tip because per 80 grams there is, have a look, no nutrients on there, but per 80 grams is around about 3 grams of fibre. I also, for my fruits, not for my fruits, for my veg, it tends to be frozen, or I'll go for mushrooms or peppers, that sort of thing, onions. I just prefer that. I'm not big on veg, but as I say, any veg like broccoli or things like that will be a frozen variety, just because it keeps so much better. Last but not least, intra-workout carbs, if I'm feeling like I'm going to be particularly low on energy for a workout, I'll go for something like Skittles or Sour Patch Kids, or any kind of sweet can work, as long as you check that it's a low fat or no fat sort of option. A tip from Lex was, if it's less than 2 grams of fat per 100, it would make a good source, because it's more or less purely fast digesting carbs, so it gets straight into your bloodstream. I tend to hit these up, or Sour Patch Kids, every workout, and I found that doing this really does help keep my energy levels up. It may be partly placebo, but if you look more into Lex Griffin's video on that, he will explain more in depth the amounts and things. He's a real good person to get your information from. So there we have it, just a few brief ideas of how I approach the diet, a few things I incorporate into that. As I say, most of the other proteins will be chicken. I tend to get that from the butchers. Most of my fresh meats will be from the butchers, and I find it's usually a slightly more reasonable price, sometimes a lot cheaper, but it's better value, and it's supporting local businesses as well, which is always good. So incorporating all that into account, if you look on websites such as ifitfitsyourmacros.com, there's an online calculator, fill in that calculator, it will give you a very good ballpark figure as to where your macros need to be. Some of the tips that Matt Ogus seems to use are: hit your macros, your proteins, fats and your carbs, hit 2+ fruits a day, 2+ vegetables a day, and hit your fibre. If you hit your fibre, you need to be between 10 and 15 grams per 1,000 calories. That'll just keep everything moving, all the nutrients running around your body, and if you follow those simple rules just to get you started, you'll find that it really does work. If you're losing more than 2 pounds a week, then you could always up your carbohydrates or your fats slightly, just to slow it down. You don't really want to lose weight too fast. If you're new to it altogether, your first few weeks you could expect to lose more weight, but the first week you'll lose more than most, because if you up your water intake, you'll drop a lot of water, if you're not used to drinking large amounts of water, that is. Me personally, I have 3 to 4 litres a day. That seems to be easy enough to drink, and at first it wasn't. I had to work quite hard to do that, but now I'm there, I can drink 4 litres comfortably a day. There is websites, I'm not sure of them, on calculating how much water you really do need, because they say that too much water is as bad as not enough. So search that on Google, and that'll give you a few tips regards water. As I say, hit your macros, hit your fibre, enjoy life, train hard, that's it.
Moving like the speed of sound, feet can't keep on the ground.